Welcome back to the Light Up Your Life podcast with your host, Samantha.
And I'm Alexa. We're here to light up your life.
Today, we have an amazing guest. Her name is Shea. She's a sales and performance coach that empowers new coaches through her Impact Experience program. She blends psychology and sales expertise, and her mission is to impact millions of coaches and create global change. So, welcome to the show. We're so excited and happy to have you.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're so excited to have you here from Chicago. I'll jump right into the question. So I know you have a very successful coaching business now, and you didn't always think that that was possible for yourself. So I've heard about some of the challenges you've had in your school age years. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So all the way back, I'm going to bring you guys back to like little girl Shea. You know, I was like the kid in 6th grade that was just trying to fit in. I wore Abercrombie and Fitch because I thought that was like the cool thing to do, right? And I would walk down the hallway and like I was just trying to be with everybody. And so I remember sitting in my class and I struggled in just math. Math was just not my subject. I think we all have topics that is just, it was not my thing, right? And my teacher ended up calling my mom one day and said, Julie, I think that your daughter has a learning disability. And so now I'm like trying to be this little girl that fits in. And now I'm shoved at the back of the hallway where nobody wants to be. And I remember that moment saying like, I can't be here, right? Like the bell would go off and I'd be the first one in the hallway. Fast forward to 14 years old, like freshman year of high school. My teacher, I'm sitting in my classroom because I was in the smaller classroom still. And she said, Katie, let's talk about like how we spell the word because. Like, let's spell the word because. And so I'm sitting in this classroom. She's writing the word because on the board. And I remember sitting there. That was like the first time like I challenged myself. And I was like, I think I could do this. Like, I know how to spell the word because. I wrote it down. Like, I was like, I got this. So I walk up to her after and I go, Mrs. Fox, I know how to spell the word because. And she looked at me and she said, Katie, this is where you're supposed to be. Now go sit back down. Right. And I remember that moment being like, oh my gosh, like I believed her for so many years. And so it was that first moment where I started really challenging myself. I broke out of that class and I brought students with me. And that's when I knew I wanted to make like a really big impact in this world because I did it myself.
Wow, that's such a profound story. And to be that young and for a teacher, I mean, I'm a prior teacher myself. And for someone to share that with their students and say that, I think is terrible. But I feel like if you also didn't experience that, then it wouldn't push you and drive you to the person you are today. So I feel like we go through all these experiences and things that really do help push us to our next potential, whatever that is. So when you said that you helped, other students get out of that classroom too, and it really inspired you to become a coach, what are some things and tools that you had to learn to really help propel you to get out of that mindset that, you were special needs, you were in the smaller classroom?
For me, it was really challenging. Like the first step for me, was becoming aware of like, is this really true? Like, am I really stuck here? Can I really get inside of those bigger classrooms? Like I proved to myself that I knew how to spell the word because I was a 14-year-old kid. And I'm like, I know how to do that. So I had to challenge, like become aware and then challenge that belief system within myself. And once I challenged that, I was like, I could do this. Let me take action towards becoming something new and challenge myself to move in that direction. And that's exactly what I did. Then once I did that, all the other kids in the class, I'm like, I think I could do that with you as well. And I did, right? And it's one of the most profound things in the world because when you start like becoming aware of those things that are subconsciously driving you and pulling you back, and then you challenge it, you could take new empowering actions in your life.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an amazing story. And it's so easily to just kind of put yourself in the buckets that everybody else puts you into. And having those opinions pressed upon you in such a long age, it's such an easy way to just believe in those things. And so to overcome that, it is really challenging, especially at such an age where you kind of are able to say, hey, I used to be those things, but I'm not anymore. Or just because I was in the past, it doesn't define me going forward. So that's a beautiful thing that you were able to overcome that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think, one of the things that I think is the best way to overcome that and to move in that direction, like I always talk about, even with my clients, like I'll just go into what what that step looks like is I always tell my clients, like, what are those things that who are you being today? Right? Like, let's locate like who you're being today, and then let's locate who you want to become, like that next big version of you, like that next big empowering version of you. And so then, after walking through like your limiting beliefs and like challenging those, it's like, what are those next steps to moving in that direction? And so one of the biggest things that I work on with my clients is like, give me the emotions that you're feeling every single day. Tell me your top 5 emotions that you're feeling on a daily basis. Maybe it's stressed out, maybe it's overwhelmed, maybe it's like this like lack of like self-worth, or whatever those different beliefs are. And then I want you to give me the top 5 beliefs that you want to step into every single day. And because your emotion is what's going to drive you forward in your life. And so if you tap into those empowering emotions every day, subconsciously, you're going to start altering and start moving in that direction. So that's a really big part of what I believe in and what I coach on, because who you're being and how you feel on a daily basis is going to give you more powerful results in your life.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I know Tony Robbins says too, if you're feeling in a low state of being, you have to make a radical change in your body to be able to do that. And to your point, to change your emotions. And so can you give us an example of maybe something that you worked with your client where you helped them, realize the emotions that they were feeling, and then help them and move them to empower them to think and have a different belief system?
Yeah, 100%. So this actually brings me to one of my clients that I just worked with. So I just ran a 7-week program. I ended up being a 10-week program because I always add bonuses in there because I love my students, right? But I walked them through that program, and she went from like being this just super overwhelmed, like had a lot of like self-worth, like things going on, like didn't really have direction in her life of what she wanted to do, what kind of coach she wanted to become. Like she had no idea. She just knew that she wanted to make some kind of impact in this world, but she like felt stuck. And so throughout the program and throughout the process, like I'm really big on embodiment, right? And so like through the beginning of my journey from point A to point B, like the transformational journey that I walk people through, and I walked her through, is always working on themselves first. Okay. How do we become the living demonstration of greatness within ourselves? So what actions could we start taking in our life? And so we started moving the needle that way. And out of like the past, I don't know, like 10 weeks that we've been working together, I mean, she's now like, she brought in her first 2 clients. She has a coaching business now. She had nothing like before. And now she's like massively confident, like shouting from the rooftop, like helping, dragging others along. So, the tangible steps, I think the first thing that people need to work on is like themselves, and then like slowly just incorporating like new things, like point A to point B, but what are the milestones and action items in between, and like taking slow steps to do that.
Yes, I agree. And so what would that look like though? I know a lot of people have these limiting self-beliefs about themselves. And so what do you think is like the most common one that people are experiencing? Because I know there's 3 of them. We definitely learned that from Richie Dolan. So from your experience working with like hundreds of, students, what would you say?
They're not experienced enough. They're terrified of like what people are going to say about them. Are people gonna like think I'm stupid, or am I gonna come across a certain way? Like all of those like things right there. Fear of failure. Like, am I gonna fail at this? Like having everything so perfect. That's a huge one, especially for the people I coach. Like I need to have everything perfect, and I need to have like the landing page, all these like things that don't really matter, right? Like I need to have all these different things so perfect before I go out there and I start spreading what I'm trying to do, like my impact to the world. And so those different belief systems, I mean, it drives the show. I see it happening every single day. It really does. And I think that the best thing like to know is, I mean, you guys know as well, as you grow and as you expand, they're still there. Like those limiting beliefs, like that part of me, that little girl, she's still there. Sometimes I'm like going and I'm doing something. It's like, Katie, what the heck are you doing? You're not meant to do that. And I have to acknowledge that part of myself, but I don't let it own me anymore. And then I told my students yesterday, I said, play opposite day with your beliefs every single day, right? You have a belief that says, I don't deserve it. Figure out a way that you do deserve it, and then go take action on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So powerful.
Absolutely. And it really resonated with something that you said, where a lot of people have this fear of just stepping out of their comfort zone. And unless things are perfect, they don't feel like it's ready to go, ready to launch. And I think I would agree with that, where for me, I'm such a perfectionist, such a type A personality. Everything has to be perfect. And if it's not, I'm just not ready to do it. And I think it really pulls you back, right? You're just not able to take steps in the right direction. You're not able to move forward. So ultimately, how would you, if somebody is struggling with that, what would your recommendation be to overcome that?
So my recommendation for that, and this is something I learned from Grant Cardone. And it works so well because I'm the same way. I'm the exact same way. Like I want everything so perfect. And sometimes I have Tony, my fiance, being like, Katie, just do it. Just go out there and just do it. And sometimes like that's what you need to just do. And so it's like Grant Cardone says, commit first, figure the rest out later. And so I've launched programs in the past where I had no program, like no outline. When I first started coaching, I remember like getting my first coaching client and calling my old business partner up and saying, Gary, I have no idea what we just sold, but we need to put together a program. Like we need to just do it. And that motto, like having that in the back of my mind of like commit first, figure the rest out later, it almost forces the perfectionists in us to go, I just need, like, now it's committed. It's out there. Like the world sees it. And now I have to like actually take action with it. So that's what's worked for me. And I tell my students the same thing.
So can I share the example with Albert?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So last week we interviewed a very successful entrepreneur. He runs huge businesses, and I actually spoke at his corporation to over 150 people, and the energy was just amazing. And after we finished our podcast, he asked Alexa, he's like, so when are you coming to share your story and empower, my team? And public speaking has always been really hard for me and for her. And I'm like, you just have to commit to doing it. So I loved your answer because I totally think you could do it. You just have to commit and figure the rest out later.
And I think I'm, still struggling with all that. I want to get it. I want to get what I'm going to say in order. I want to pitch it to a smaller crowd, really just be able to, practice getting it almost perfect. So I feel very confident going into it. And I think that's what holds me back sometimes. And I really do need to find a way to kind of push myself and overcome that fear, which I know so many people are struggling with. It's just the next step that I would have to take to become a better public speaker and be able to, do some of the things that I would like to do with my career path. So it's definitely the next step for me. And I really like to respond.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like get out there and just do it. I remember when I first started public speaking, Sam, this is when I met you. I was coaching a lot of network marketers. And so I was on Zoom calls like every single night. And I promise you, it was terrible at first. I was awful. Oh my gosh, I was. I didn't know what I was doing. I just got out there and I just did it. And after being in the experience, that's when you become better. And that's when you like start crafting like really good things. And so it's not just about like committing first, like that's the first step to just doing it, but take it as like, I'm going to learn a lot here and I'm just going to like take it and I'm going to craft it and it's going to become really freaking powerful.
And I feel like we're our own biggest critics too, because for you to just say that right now, how you didn't feel confident. And when you first started, you coached me in network marketing. I felt like you did such an incredible job. But like I said, we critique ourselves so horribly. And I really think it's just stepping into your power and then also knowing that the opportunity wouldn't present itself if you weren't ready. So I think it's so important to know that maybe you don't think you are, but other people see that in you and know it's possible for you. And I'm sure you see that with your clients all the time. You see their potential before they even do.
Totally. I mean, it's true how you just said it, where we like self-criticize ourselves so much that on the outside, like when you're going out there, when you're speaking, you might be like, oh my gosh, what did I do? I used to call my business partner and be like, was I good? Like, is that okay? Like, do I need to do something different? And he's like, Katie, you did really, really good. I don't know what you're talking about, but we just like analyze ourselves so much that it becomes like we're like creating this whole barrier without it actually being the reality of what it is,
That's so true. Yeah. And I think our thoughts are just so important to in visualizing yourself, really stepping into that. And I know you do a lot of that with your clients too. So can you give us one example? I know you're huge into helping people change their identity, their alter ego. And I know you mentioned a little bit before, but what's maybe one thing that you have them practice to step into it? Because I know imposter syndrome for me, I still struggle with that sometimes. So how does someone step into that person? What would you say?
Focusing on it every single day. If you create another version of you, it's just like how like Grant Cardone says, right? Like write down your goals every single day, which I don't do anymore. I used to do that, but I think embodiment is way more powerful than just setting goals. So like the way to like step into that person every day is to refocus on that person every single day. I'm a really big believer on like visualization and like feeling into that person. And so if I could like visualize that person of me and I could step into that person of me every single day, then I'm going to maybe move a little bit closer. Then what action can I take that's going to be in alignment with that person? And so sometimes I'm like, I just don't want to post on social media today. Or I just really don't want to reach out to that person. I don't really want to do that. And then I sit back and I question myself, well, would like Katie do that as the new empowered version of you? Would she make that decision? No. Okay. So that's my indicator to move forward. So it's almost like playing, like you're almost like playing two sides of yourself. It's like the one that's trying to pull you back and the one that's saying, well, no, I would take that action and then move forward with that action and feeling moving forward in that action. Right. So that's how I would do it. It's a daily practice.
Yeah, I think it's really rewiring your subconscious mind too, because we're so programmed to have those beliefs about ourselves. So, like you said, it has to be something you do every single day to really step into that. And for your coaching, do you have them focus on one thing at a time and get really good at that? Or do you have them focus on multiple things to step into that person?
So the way that my program's laid out, and this has taken me a while to kind of craft out, but it's taken me a while to craft out because I've co-created it with my students. And that's why, like, I think doing things and being out there and just learning through it is one of the best things that you could do. But basically, like what I have in my program is different stages of where people should be focusing in on. So if they're at a certain stage, like let's say they need to work on their mindset, limiting beliefs, like they feel overwhelmed, stressed, not confident at all, I'm gonna put them in stage 1 of my impact experience. It's a course. So what they do is they walk through like the different milestones and action items I have for that section. And so maybe it's like working through their limiting beliefs, creating a new empowering person, like all of those different things to make sure that they're getting progress. Then after they're done with that, they can move on to stage 2 and then so on. Right. So they're always having it's almost like an accountability tool to keep them intentionally moving and taking action towards the end result. That is for me, for my coaching clients, it's let me go get a first coaching client and like make an income from coaching.
I love that response. That was great.
Yeah. And so what are some of the things that you have them do to kind of outside of these coaching sessions? What are some things that you recommend they go and do or expose themselves to really, kind of get into that, shift into that new role or a new version of themselves?
I'll give you an example because I think examples are probably one of the best things. One of my one-on-one clients, she was really struggling with like her money mindset. And I believe money mindset, because I had to go through a lot of different things in my own life. It's one of the most empowering things because if you want to bring in more money, then you need to learn how to accept it and exchange it, right? Like I believe money is an energetic exchange. And so she was having a lot of difficulties with giving away money. Okay. Like she would attract money, but then she would hold it and say, oh, I don't know like when it's going to come to me next. And so one of the biggest empowerment tools there was when I dug into like her limiting beliefs and like we went through all of that work, I was like, okay, what is like the next step that we could do to start giving away money? Like, how can we start like counteracting that belief system so then the actions that you're taking is totally opposite of what you are subconsciously thinking every single day. And so we started practicing giving away money. And because of that, like she was at like a financial like standstill in her business and her life. I mean, she just had almost a 10K month. right? Just by doing that one action of just giving away money. She started like, she's like, I gave away money to like this one girl that really needed it. She started like donating, and it just almost like detached her from that limiting subconscious thing that was constantly pulling her back. So
I think that's so powerful because, like, to your point, when you said she was hoarding her money, that's almost an energetic lack, right? Because you don't think you're going to get anything. So with your tool and being able to give money, I think that's so important for people to see. And the more you give, the more you get. So that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that example.
Yeah, it actually makes me think of another example, and I've heard this from another coach that I've worked with in the past. And so she suggests for just kind of for that abundance piece is to just exchange like $100, $200 worth of money into single dollar bills and place it around the house, kind of hide it in things that you're going to easily forget about. So the next time you're opening that drawer, you're taking that coat out of the closet, you just find that money sort of laying around. And then you put your hand in your pocket, you take out the dollar bill, and you're like, oh, wow, this is great. You know, I just found this money. And it kind of teaches your subconscious to just redirect yourself and just say, hey, money comes or flows easily to me. So I thought that was a wonderful tip. And I have yet to kind of do that, but I definitely wanted to go ahead and try that. I think that would work great.
Yeah. And so, Katie, I know you started as a sales coach, right? That was a lot of your business. So what gave you the ideas or that momentum to shift now to coaching people to launch their coaching business?
yeah, so I love sales. I'm still a sales girl, and I love teaching on sales. And you know what it was? I'm a really big believer on listening to what your clients need from you and what they really want from you. And so as I was coaching on sales and in the network marketing space, a lot of my clients just started coming up to me saying, Katie, I want to become a coach. I don't feel as connected to the network marketing thing anymore, but I don't know what's next for me. And so I started playing around with the idea of like coaching them to like become a coach. And I was already doing that with network marketing, actually, which is kind of funny because in network marketing, I was helping, Sam, you might remember this, I was helping you guys really locate like why like network marketing, what like other than the product, like why are you there? Right. And so like it really started like spilling out like what people just wanted to like help, like because they overcame challenges in their own life. And I started listening to my clients. I started playing around with the stuff a little bit, and I started crafting around them and understanding what they really needed. And it kind of accidentally happened, but it's the most fulfilling thing in the world because now what I'm doing is I'm creating coaches that feel super aligned to their calling and like what they want to serve people with. But I'm not just making an impact in my own way. Now we're able to make an impact throughout, right? Because everyone has their own different unique thing. So it's really, really cool.
I love that. And I know so many people want to start a coaching business. So what would some advice be if they wanted to start, they don't know where to start, and just some things that they can do?
I'll give you the exact blueprint. Okay. Like honestly, the exact blueprint of where I would start. And this is something that I crafted like throughout just learning and just working with my students. The first thing, what we've been talking about the whole entire time, your mindset embodiment. Okay. Embodying the version of you that's your best self, because without embodying that, it's gonna be a lot harder to coach other people. And so you got to become the living demonstration of it before you start coaching, right? So that's the first step. The second step is like, what do you feel connected to coaching on? What challenges have you overcome in your life that you could share with somebody else? It's almost like your intro to your coaching niche, right? The third step is now, what is our coaching niche? Who is our audience? What are they thinking, feeling, and doing? Like the third step is like all about your audience, crafting messages around your audience, like getting super in tune with like who your audience is and like almost getting inside their head. Like if I woke you up in the middle of the night and be like, Sam, who's your audience? I want you to tell me like what that person's like their fears are, their vision, like every single thing about them. The fourth step is influence and sales. How do I actually like become a really big influence in this world? And how do I like, this is what I teach my students how to do. Go out there, deliver free coaching calls, get a testimonial, and then ask on that free coaching call if they would be interested to hear about a coaching program. If it's yes, then either bring them into your offer or start building out a list of buyers. Okay. Create an outstanding offer. And then the fifth step is like, it's called my impact stage. So that's where like we actually make an impact, get your first coaching client, and then bring them through their own transformational journey that you've crafted for them. So those are like my 5 different stages that I walk people through to get like that ultimate transformation. And it works really, really, really well. So it's good.
That's so powerful. I want to go back to the point where you made where, people have to go through all these challenges, and Tony and Dean Graciosi say this, it's basically your dot, and you are the most empowered to teach the person you were a few years ago. So like you said, the challenges they went through, their feelings. So you've already, gone through all of that. And so how can you empower other people to do that? So I think that's so important when people are like, well, I don't know what I'm good at. Like looking at your challenges and how you've overcame them and stepped into the person you are today, that's how you can absolutely help coach other people. So that's amazing that you put that foundational work together. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you. It's fulfilling. It's super fulfilling to see people step into it. Like I had one girl that was an insurance agent and now she's like a relationship coach, helping divorced women over 40 regain the love of their life, like get the confidence to go back inside the dating world. Right. So it's so funny how when you start really looking within and acknowledging like all the things that you've overcome and your strengths and all those different things, that you could really craft a paid offer around that if you really feel committed and aligned to serving others and helping others.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing too. And so I know a lot of times in sales, people don't see it as that, right? They don't see it as service. They think of like, oh, I'm reaching out to this person and who knows what they're going to say, and who knows if they want to buy from me. So what would you say to a person that has those thoughts? Because I know so many people in network marketing think that.
Yeah, I would say when I first started my coaching business, I did a lot for free, a lot. And the reason why I did that was because it helped me gain my self-confidence to charge for it. And it helped me like really impact and like start understanding like what my clients really needed. And that's what I would do. I mean, like if I had to go back and like start over again, like the method I teach my students is literally get free coaching calls done, get a testimonial from them. So you at least like have something like social proof, right? And then ask them at the end if they want to hear about your coaching program. So you're not selling them, but you're giving them permission to open up that gate. And most of the time it's going to be yes, if you have a really impactful free coaching call. And so after that, then now you have the opportunity to bring your offer to them. And it's not so much of, reaching out and asking to buy your product. It's really just reaching out and seeing how you can impact their life. Those are 2 different conversations, right?
I couldn't agree more. It's that mindset shift that you're adding value and you're helping someone as opposed to feeling like a burden for reaching out to them. So I love that.
How would you say you go about finding the clients that you want to offer these, your coaching services to? So in the beginning, can you just share how you started looking for new opportunities to share your coaching expertise with, or, what are some other things you did to kind of grow the network?
So in the beginning, I started in the network marketing industry. I remember I was like, I'm going to become a sales coach. I was affiliated with Grant Cardone, and I was like, I have no idea what the heck I'm going to do with this, but I'm going to become a sales coach. And I just had so many people reaching out to me on Instagram, right? Like, hey, do you want to try the product? And I was like, I think I could help these people. And so I called my business partner back in the day and I was like, dude, I'm about to do this. Are you in? Or are you out? And so I just started, to be honest with you, I started doing cold outreaches like that. That was my thing back then. I would pick up my phone, I would make a selfie video, and I would reach out to, I would go to like Monet, we'll just say Monet, because I was really heavy in Monet. I would go to like their Instagram page, and then I would look at the tagged photos, and then I would start reaching out to those people that are tagging the photos. And I just sent them selfie videos and I didn't sell them. All I would say was like, hey, number one, I connected with them. I looked at their profile. I authentically connected on something that they were doing or who they were being. Then I said the reason I was reaching out, because I knew that was what they were thinking in the back of their mind, like, who the heck is this Katie Shea girl just reaching out to me on Instagram? And then I asked them a question. I just simply asked them a question to engage a conversation. And then I would jump on a free coaching call with them and I would give them more value. And then I would say, hey, you have a team. Let me jump on with your team. And then I would get in front of more people. So that's kind of how it started snowballing and happening in that kind of a way. But I think the best thing is just, a lot of people think just posting is good enough, but if you want faster results, you have to get known. You have to talk to people, so.
Your selfie video is gold, by the way. I use it all the time. I learned it from you. And that's how we get so many amazing people to come on our podcast, by doing selfie videos and engaging them. Yeah, it works like a dream. We love the selfie videos.
Good. I'm so happy. It's gold because nobody else is really doing it, especially on like social media. So that's really cool that you guys are implementing that.
That's so
I think
true.
is in a lot of ways, it really puts you out there. It gets you out of that fear and like, what is this person going to think about me? You just kind of go for it. Right. And it's one of the things we've already talked about, just doing it. You're putting yourself out there. You're putting your ego on the back burner. I'm just going to be here and I'm going to put myself forward. No fear of rejection. And if this person say yes, that's great. And I have nothing else to lose. So yeah, it's been working great.
Yeah, we love it. So what's next for you? I know that you started your coaching business and you walked us through, the foundational pieces of it and what it looks like. So where do you ultimately want to go? We know your vision is to impact millions of people's lives and help to change them. So
yeah, I was actually just talking about this yesterday with my coach, and I was like, I just really want to create like there's so much in the coaching industry that's a lot of fluff. Like, let's just be transparent, right? Like, there's not a lot of transformation. And I've been coached by like a lot of really cool people. And what I always felt was lacking in the coaching industry was almost like a point A to point B blueprint. Tell me where to start and then like how to end. And so like my impact experience, like that's my program name. It's really my brand name at the end of the day now. It used to be just Katie Shea Coaching, but now it's, the impact experience. Where I see it kind of going is, I want to, well, I'm going to create an event called the Impact Experience event. So I'm going to definitely do that and have like an event where coaches could come in and just have major clarity. Eventually, I want to create some kind of technology. You guys are the first people to hear this, by the way. So here we go. I want to create some kind of like technology where like coaches just have something just given to them, right? Like where everything is in one place where they could come in and have everything without trying to figure it out, without feeling perfect. Like I want to have something so simple for coaches that they could just come into and just streamline it and just go make an impact, like do what you do best. So that's my next vision right now. My focus is to really expand the impact experience to more people, because I've been in such a like refining phase of it and just making sure that like it's like really good based on my students and like their transformations and what they're needing. So I'm in the phase of getting it out to people now, and it's exciting. So it's going to be like that impact experience and eventually like some kind of like technology down the line to like streamline the whole thing.
wow, we love it.
Yeah, that's
so
amazing.
And to wrap this up, where can our listeners find you? I know you're all over Instagram. Do you have a website people can go to?
I do. So my website, I'm gonna be honest with you, because I'm a big landing page person. Like my landing pages and things like that, with like for ebooks and stuff, that's me more so where people can find me. But if you really want to find me, Instagram is the best way to find me because it has everything like that on there. So my Instagram handle is Katie, KATIE _ Shea, SHEA 13. And it's super easy. And then everything's on there. So reach out. Seriously, I love to have conversations and just see where I could support people and help them get to the next level in their life.
Well, thank you so much for being on. You are amazing. We love your vision and all that you're doing to help change this world and making a huge impact and empowering so many lives.